Dan the Man fans, welcome to a very special unboxing. As you can see in front of me today, I have the brand new NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070 Super. This is going to be my brand new graphics card and I am so excited to be unboxing this with you today live on the channel. This is an incredible product that cost me £539 on overclockers, which I think is an absolute bargain for a Super Series, 40 Super Series graphics card. I couldn't quite go out there and get the TI Super, but I think this is incredible. You can see here some of the features it's got on the back. We've got cutting edge GPUs, realistic and immersive graphics. We've got things like DLSS and all sorts of incredible stuff here, and you can see the lovely twin fans. I'm going to unbox this for you, show you the graphics card, we're going to plug it in and we're going to try a few games and get some few specs. So let's have a go at unboxing this bad boy today on the DTMS channel. Very excited by this, guys. This is very exciting. I don't usually buy stuff brand new like this. I did think about going for a 3080 Ti, but then I saw how awesome these are and I thought, well, why not? Let's go and get one of these bad boys. So as you can see there, it comes in the usual white box like so. As you can see, it's got Zotac there on the box. It should then flip up. Is there more tape? I hope not. This then flips up and let's see what we get from this today. I'm super excited by this. Is there another box? More boxes inside. I'm trying not to rip this. Let's see what we're doing here. There are. That lifts up there. There she is. The new RTX, GeForce RTX 4070. We've got another shiny box there. We've got some power cables in here. Very nice. I shouldn't need that because I've just upgraded my PSU. And then here we go. Here is the graphics card itself. Let's have a look at this beautiful thing. The box is very tidy, I'll have to say. We'll keep that in case I ever do sell it one day. So let's move that to one side. And then let's open up the graphics card. Let's move it out of its bag and let's have a look. Oh, she's so shiny. There we go, guys. A beautiful graphics card. Look at that. So you can see the nice twin fans there. We've got some, we've got obviously the PCIe 4.0 down here, and then on the base here where we plug it in, it takes up 2 ports, and you can see we've got 1 HDMI and 3 display ports. You can see they're all covered up there. Very nice. You can see that it requires a usual 8-pin power supply, which is standard on these sort of things, but this is a really super graphics card here, guys, that I'm very excited to install into my machine, and we can have a look and see how awesome this looks. So without further ado, guys, a lovely black design. It's really nice. It's really short as well. It takes up 2 blocks and it's like 220mm long. It's a really nice small graphics card. Really nice little small form. So without further ado, guys, let's get this in the computer. Let's run some numbers and let's see what actually this graphics card can do. Right then, so here I go. I've sped up the input process. You can see here that I'm getting the graphics card out. I'm trying to put it into my PCIe slot. But I quickly realised that I have left the guard on the bottom, so I quickly pull the card out and remove that. As you can see, once the card is nice and secure, there we are, taking the guard off. I then make sure the card is nice and secure. It slots in very nicely there. Then I look at the power supply and I realise that actually, I'm just checking that it's all nice and secure. So quickly, my PC is running an AMD 5900X CPU. It's got 32GB of DDR4 RAM, and it has got a 850-watt power supply, Corsair RMX 850, and I've got a 1TB SSD, NVMe 2, and obviously now I'm running an NVIDIA 4070 Super. You can see here that I've got the power supply wrong. I thought I had the right power supply or right connectors, so therefore I go back into the box and find the converter, plug that in there like so, realise that they're wrong. I then put my pins in. I've actually got a 6-pin and a 2-pin splitter here, so I have to actually make sure that I put them in properly so the 6-pin slots in. I've got a modular power supply, so I really should have changed the cables, but I couldn't be bothered. But they all slot in nicely there, so the first ones are going in there.
and then I find the second adapter and I slot the 6-pin in, followed by the other 2-pin, and then we are good to go. So I'm just slotting that in there. As you can see, I have sped this up nice and quickly. I slide the other pin in like so, and then do a little bit of cable management just to make sure that the cables aren't going to hit any fans and everything's all good. Make sure everything's secure. I then get the securing screws and I put those screws into the 2 slots on my motherboard like so. I then put the slot on there, check that everything's good. You can see what slots we have there, and there we go. So when it launched last year, the 4070 had a price of $600, which is very high for an original 4070. So the core count has gone up by about 20%, and it has more cache as well. The memory setup remains unchanged, and since the target clock speeds remain the same as well, it kind of makes sense that the TDP is slightly higher. But keep in mind that 220 watts still isn't that much for a power consumption. The old RTX 4070 isn't going anywhere, but it is getting a new recommended price of $550 or about £500 in the UK, which given the specification is not bad. So let's look at Baldur's Gate 3. So you can see at 1080p that all 4 graphics cards here are pretty samey. Interestingly though, the AMD RX 7800 XT does pull away slightly more there. But at 1440p things get a lot more interesting. You can see that the 4070 Ti Super is obviously in the lead, followed by the 4070 Super, and then obviously the previous generation cards are trailing behind. If we then move up to 4K, I don't think the 4070 Ti Super justifies the price increase. If we then move on to Spider-Man Remastered, you can see here that obviously 1080p is very nice for all of them, but 4K is where the RX 4070 Super really shines. You can see they're still getting 117 frames per second on high settings. Then if we move over to PAL World, you can see here that again, 4K and 1440p really are the sweet spots for the RX 4070 Super. You can see here that it is keeping up nicely and it is ahead of its previous generation, the RTX 4070, so it is a really nice card to have here. Unfortunately though, the 4070 Ti Super does go ahead. Now if we look at all these other games here, you can see that the 4070 Super really does nicely at 1080p. Look at all these games here. The only ones it struggles with really are like Red Dead Redemption and CPU intensive games like Flight Simulator. But you can see here that at the 4070 Ti Super though really does fly ahead with a lot more frame rates, but you would expect that from a high performance graphics card with 16GB of VRAM. But then if we look at the 4070 Super at 1440p, we're still getting some really nice frame rates here. You can see obviously Doom Eternal is way ahead there at 375 frames, which is insane. Then if we go back down again to Flight Simulator, you can see then that obviously we are still struggling slightly at about 80 frames, but that's still a nice place to be for a 560 to £600 graphics card. Like I said, I paid 540. You can see here that the graphics are nice and smooth. It looks really lovely here on my PC, and I'm a big fan of Flight Simulator. You can see here that I've got frame generation on here and ray tracing, and it looks absolutely stunning. Look at me there, soaring through the sky. Very nice there, guys. Lovely. If we then look at 4K, you can see here that the Supercard struggles slightly. Tony Hawk's obviously is quite an old game and that obviously excels, but again you're going down to F1 2023, Alan Wake 2, F1 22, Cyberpunk, you're going to struggle. If we look at the Super, the 40 games at 4K, you can see here that Dying Light 2 is not bad. If we go on to power consumption, you can see here that obviously the RTX 40 Super only consumes 219 watts of power, which is insane compared to the RX 7800 XT by obviously AMD obviously consumes a lot more power there, guys. Just for comparison, if you look at the energy savings here, using it 2 hours a day, obviously the Super is only a 219 watt power supply. You are going to save yourself money over time. And as you can see here, that obviously it will build up. I've done it in dollars for my American audience, but obviously if you think about how expensive electricity is in the UK, you're going to save yourself a lot of money over time and get a much better gaming experience. So guys, that is my review of the 4070 Super. Would I recommend this card? Hell yes, I would. Like I said to you before, I have upgraded from a 1060 Ti 6GB VRAM. Oh my god, the difference is insane. I've jumped
3 generations. And yes, I paid £540. That is more expensive than a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. But think about what I can do. Video editing, photo editing, I can play a mirage of games, I can use ray tracing, I can use FSS, I can use DLSS, I can do so many different things. I can experiment with different settings, I can punch out faster videos, and it handles 4K so nicely now. Anyway guys, if you've enjoyed my review and you're new to the channel, please think about subscribing. It means so much. If you want to join the Dan the Man Sings community, if you like the video as well, smash the like button and please turn on notifications if you do subscribe. Guys, thank you very much. I'll see you again in the next video, and I hope you enjoyed this review of the NVIDIA RTX 4070 Super, and I'll see you in the new one. Take care, all the best.